This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Sabrina Clark joining us live. I feel so bad for her. I think it's the early morning hours, right? Where you are? You're in Hawaii. What time is it there?
It's 10:42. It is a little early.
10:42, and she's got some condensation, some rain. What's happening there?
Oh, we had some rain. It's good. We have to keep all the foliage nice and green and lush. And it's so perfect when it just rains at night and then it's sunny during the day. It almost seems like it's magical, right? Um, but yeah, it's the winter weather, so it gets a little bit gray, but not too bad. We're in Hawaii. It's some of the best weather in the world for sure. All the dogs are happy. We're doing playtime right now, and I have lots of puppies in training, and I'm delivering a couple service. So if you don't know, Hawaii has multiple islands. And so the big island is called the
Yep.
island of Hawaii. So to
Hawaii.
reduce confusion, they just called
Hawaii.
it the big island. Yeah. So I'm going
Oh,
to go there for a couple days and then I'm coming back and then I'm going to Costa Rica for a dog
finally,
training
for your
seminar.
yes. Tell us,
I'm
tell us what.
so excited. So this dog trainer named Sabrina is putting together a roundtable discussion about the ethics in dog training and how there's room for more humanitarian discussion. So the community's gotten really polarized. There was just a new code of ethics that's been um, promoted by one side, and I'm sure the other side is going to be happy about it. So, for whatever dog trainers you follow out there, I'm sure there's a lot to be said because this is really getting interesting. And so, I don't know. I just want to make an analogy. I was trying to find a way to explain this to somebody without sounding like I'm taking sides and without criticizing either side because they're both valid. But my analogy is if you had people that reupholstered couches and some use glue and some don't. And so the ones that don't use glue are like, oh, you should never use glue. It's bad for the couch. But then the couch companies that use glue get like way more clients and they make way more money. There was an article came out last week in Dogster saying like the average dog trainer makes $56,000. And if we were to equate this to this couch scenario, the ones that use glue make like 500,000 up to $1 million a year. So they make like way more money. So it's kind of like an open market thing, and people can choose whether they want to upholster their couch with glue or not. But then the side that doesn't use glue is now making legislation where they're like, oh, it should be illegal to fix couches with glue because it's not good for the couch. And so that would, in essence, be a taking or a harm for all those business owners who are making that kind of money and paying all their staff and buying big facilities and carrying this big reputation and helping the community by fixing the couches with glue. So that's kind of what's going on. And so it's fascinating and I'm curious to see how it's going to unfold. And I look forward to learning more about both sides at this roundtable discussion. And I hope that was kind of a nice analogy to get everyone thinking about it a little bit. So it's really easy to follow, I don't know, like certain YouTube dog trainers that are real vociferous on their opinion. And then you could follow other dog trainers who actually show and like French ring and have high level training,
Hmm.
and their opinion's going to be totally different. So
Of course.
it's like a war almost. And so I'm going to go to this beautiful place and get training. And so I'm super excited about how that's going to train me as a trainer. And I am thinking of offering to fix couches without glue just to see.
Whoa.
I know, just to see if like that is really feasible or not. So, I'm gonna open up like my expertise and just experiment a little bit more. And I'm taking a up and coming young trainer with me, and he's going to be perceiving all this for the first time with fresh eyes. And so to take in a perspective that's not um affected by decades of experience will be really good as well. And so hopefully come back and can offer like a broader service to everyone. Mostly with the service dog training. So that's where we're going. So we're having a big party on Sunday. I wish you could come. We're going to a
Ah,
restaurant. I'm having all my service dog clients come to like a local brew house, and we're gonna do some like uh, obedience games while we're there. And my clients love coming to my group sessions so much. They fill up this little studio, and it gets like a drum. Everyone's like, no, 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 and they're so happy, and all the dogs are being good. And so I thought, oh, this would be a nice celebration of my last group class. Would They can all actually enjoy themselves and talk and eat. And so we're gonna do that on Sunday, next Sunday. And then I'm shutting down. I'm taking a hiatus for 10 weeks. And
wow.
I know, how lucky am I? And can really focus on my online products and working through social media more. So I'm really looking at doing content creation. So we're going to do some philanthropy while we're down in that part of the world. We're going to donate some money to dog shelters in Costa Rica. And then I'll also be
Oh,
visiting El Salvador for a little bit.
oh
So
my goodness.
I know, so nice. My sister's staying there for the spring because, oh, like I said, she lives in northern Michigan. So she's like, oh, how about I just go sit on the beach in El Salvador instead? So I think that's wise. So she'll be there. I'll go visit her, and we're also going to check out what they're doing for the dogs down in El Salvador because it's changing quickly down there. They had a new regime change, and it's become highly ranked as a place to visit. I was so surprised when I was checking out, the safety of Middle America. And El Salvador was ranked the safest. And then all these people on TikTok are saying, oh, it was by far my favorite. And I thought, that's so interesting because for all these years, we've always heard kind of the opposite. And so
Yep.
now I want to go down there again with fresh eyes and just kind of experience that. And so I'm in a really open space right now, ready to take in new information, new experiences, and then really be focusing on building up the nonprofit and doing some grant writing and some fundraisers. And hopefully, this little dog pub party that I have at the end of the month will help me find new ways to do that here on the island, and perhaps abroad as well. So that's all that's
Oh,
going on with me. I'm so excited. I would like to get your sister enrolled in my online
me
doggy
too.
boot.
Yeah, she's at work now. She can never. I always told her, I'm like, you should be on the show. She doesn't get home till later, but she still has not done it. And I keep yelling at her. I'm like, you keep
I know.
procrastinating. You got to start this. Come on, let's do it. She hasn't yet.
Okay, so just send me her email and her name, and I'll get her enrolled. And then that way we can get some feedback about how she's going through all that. And I did just get a
Thank you.
dog. I do a 2-week doggy boot camp, and I was ready to shut that down and just be done with that. And I had one come scraping in the last day, and it was basically a Bernedoodle from the mainland, and bit aggressively, right? And so the pet sitter, who turned out to be the sister, is like, "Oh, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I'm dropping it off for camp." And so, it's really interesting. She's like, "Oh, the dog's main issue for biting is related to grooming, but then its hair was like this." You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Oh,
like, "Oh my
yeah.
gosh!" And she was trying to drag it into the bathtub, and it got reactive. The part of me is like, "Oh my gosh, there's so much hair over its eyes. Like, it probably doesn't even know what's going on." So the first thing I did was like do a little haircut around the eyes, and he's settling in. But aggression is complicated. And so I would say, like, I've trained like 3 aggressive dogs this last month, and I have a pair of Dutch Shepherds in
Hmm.
training right now. They're siblings, they're big. The male's like, I don't know, 90 pounds, female's like 70. And the Dutch Shepherds, they have kind of a body shape like the Belgian Malinois, but a personality a little more like the German Shepherd, and they're brindle. They're very pretty. But these are siblings. And so whenever people talk about getting two puppies, they call it littermate syndrome. I think in the old days they just said it's a bad idea. But basically, littermate syndrome is the new vernacular for a bad idea. So anyhow, it's two siblings, and so I'm working through training them. So I'm doubly challenged with a dominant, intelligent breed with sibling tendencies of packing up together and being aggressive and bite histories and all that. So I will say I'm looking forward to moving more into just service dog training. But for whatever reason, I have been imparted several troubled dogs to train this last
Aw,
month. I know. So I would like to help your sister's dog as well because it's
thank
really
you.
sad when they do show aggression, because then you're on notice for not being able to keep it, right? And that makes
Hmm.
that makes everyone so sad,
And it's bites and it's bites. And then I told you she got bit a few weeks ago. She told me, she's like, if I show you what's on my leg, if I lift my pants, you're not going to be happy. And I'm like, but one time she got my dad so bad and it was like gushing blood. He should have went to the hospital. It was like an artery, but he never did. And it was bad. But he's just against doctors, but it healed. But still, it shouldn't be happening. I know. I
No,
know.
that's and once you get bit, you like the dog bites and you recoil, which is natural because your flesh is being torn or whatever. Then the next time the dog shows, that, and then we recoil, the dog has basically trained us to back off with
Yeah.
aggression. And so once they bite and kind of get their way, it's really hard. They say in horse training, like, bucks you off, that it's done, right? So the thing is, you get off the horse, you have to get right back on so they don't make that association of being able to get you off. And being bit by dogs is kind of similar, but I've only met one other dog trainer that just had like wounds all over her hands from
Ah,
a Shiba Inu, and she would just like, and the dog just biting her, and she would just like take it. Really
mm,
hard to do, not my preference. It's super complex. So if anyone out there is listening and they have that type of dog with that type of behavior, that's very troublesome. You definitely need to get a professional help. In person is best. That's not going to be breached very well through online training. And whether or not you choose a trainer that uses whatever kind of tool, it just has to align with your own personal energies. But you just want to find somebody who has a great track record. You can go to Google and usually figure out who the winners are in any one area. And a lot of dog trainers stay in it for a long time. It is one of the careers that you can do physically for quite some time. So it's nice you can get someone who has a lot of experience and showing that they really have put in the effort. So I would never go with someone with less than 5 years experience for aggression.
got it. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
What other behavioral issues do a lot of these dogs come to you with?
Oh, it's interesting. Anxiety and separation anxiety has
Oh,
always been a problem. And so, oh, this one is tricky. So I'm going to use my words cautiously.
okay.
Because again, it goes into that whole dichotomy of the trainers. But I do believe that if you crate train the dog young and you get really in the habit of leaving and returning with like no open heart space, no big energy, and you kind of stay real calm until that dog offers a calm behavior. So not jumping on you, not spinning around, not like having a thing, but you're just basically ignoring it till it's calm. And then as soon as it's calm, you're like, oh, hey, dog, I totally missed you. And in essence, doing behavior modification to teach them, like, oh, if you want a greeting, you have to be calm. We only do calm greetings around here. Yeah, you never want to go bananas when you come home and be like, oh my God, my dog, I miss you so much. And your dog's like, oh,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Because that's kind of like if you were to think about like how delicious a steak is, that's how delicious it feels to their heart, right? So
Mm.
they're like all day anticipating that delicious excitement. And then they're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, and they're worried and they have separation anxiety. So a lot of owners inadvertently give their dog separation anxiety by going all crazy when they come home. So what you want to do is really practice that calmness. When you come home, you don't want to entice your dog to be overly excited. So that is hard for a lot of people. You see all those cute videos of people coming home from deployment in the military and their dog sees them for the first time in a long time and they go absolutely crazy. And it makes us feel so loved. And so it's hard, but then a lot of times those dogs are suffering when you're not home. So that will help. Having a secure home for the dog will help. Some people will do like case basis. But ideally, you're able to have your dog loose in your house, relaxing while you're not home. But that's just not tenable for a lot of dogs. Like they have separation anxiety, they're going to chew up stuff, they're going to howl, they're going to make a mess. And that's super frustrating. And they can hurt themselves. They can like chew a wire or eat something that's not appropriate, or scratch up your doors or cause like your neighbors to complain. Um, there's all kinds of problems with that. So a lot of people will contact about separation anxiety and they're looking for a fast fix. I think the fastest fix is teaching the dog to heel. So dog is no longer allowed to walk in front of you. I think that's one of the first things you can do to fix separation anxiety. And so many people, they're like confounded, but it's making you physically the leader, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if the dog doesn't think you're the leader, when you leave, it's kind of like, hey,
Uh,
where are you going? Where are you going? And then you come home and you give it all that attention because you're amplifying that excitement. And so now the dog is just doubly
oh,
messed up. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay,
that's
there we go.
okay.
Um, so separation anxiety is fixed by proper leadership, walks, proper greeting. So same thing I was telling you about when people come into the home, you have a leash on the dog. You can do that handshake greeting, share the odor, and working on downstays. So putting your dog on a place and teach them downstay, and then you just open the door and shut it. So we do this in my class where they can open the door, go outside. The goal is 2 minutes where your dog will downstay on the place. and then you can come back and they'll still stay down while you praise them. And so that's obedience training. It takes patience, it takes work. We actually put our advanced dogs in like a dog pile. So they're all like laying close to each other. The owners all leave the room. I'm proctoring. And so I'll call out like, oh, this dog got up, and they can come in and put it back down. But the dogs have to learn that down means down, stay means stay. And the obedience really does help that separation anxiety. I will say certain breeds are way more prone to it than others, like beagles, a lot of terriers, poodles. There's certain breeds that are just a little more prone to it. And that's genetics. You have to start from that early education. And then I will say a lot of the drugs that dogs are taking as a prescription medication, that the biggest side effect is anxiety and aggression. So, there's some articles out there. You can do a little research on the internet and, be cautious with whatever prescription drugs your dog is taking. Because if you're giving your dog a prescription and then you Google that prescription name plus anxiety and a bunch of stuff pops up, that could be a problem. I wouldn't say that's the only problem, but I've seen a lot more drug interactions causing anxiety than I did earlier in my career when those drugs did not exist. I would love to see a correlation of the use of this class of drugs with the incidence of separation anxiety reported at the veterinarian. I don't know. That would be a great little correlation to see what's out there, but I digress. Also, you can feed your dog a calming food. So fish formula is better than beef. If you think about like working out at the gym, like beef makes your dog like, strong. And then fish is like a monk's food. So feeding like a salmon-based formula, a lot of times that can calm your dog way down. Also lowering protein. A lot of people get all hot for feeding their dogs paleo, like a bunch of meat. So if you go over 34% protein, that will also make your dog possibly more anxious. Again, there's like a whole spectrum of belief system on this, but I've had a lot of dogs come to me that were just all amped up, and we got them cut back on protein and they did calm way down. So if you have a performance animal, yeah, you can feed them all that meat. But if you're looking for a pet dog that will actually lay on the rug while you're gone at work during the day, it's not such a good idea. And then there's a quiet moment product that I really like that has melatonin and chamomile and L-tryptophan, which is like the turkey calming amino acid, and you can give your dogs that, and that will take off the edge and help them relax through the day. But I don't use it except for when we have fireworks here. So I said a lot about separation anxiety today. So if anyone out there is interested in learning more about how to use the training aspects of the heel, the downstay, the place training, I have an online course, and I'll give all our listeners 50% off. Use the coupon code BALANCED. You can find my online courses super easy at my website at balancedobedience.com.
Great. And hold on, when do you leave for this trip?
I am leaving to deliver service dogs on the 3rd.
Okay.
And then I come back on the 5th, and then I'm going to go to Costa Rica for the dog trainer seminar on the 6th.
So are we back again then next week?
Yeah, we'll be back.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Maybe just with next Wednesday. Yeah, if you maybe just text me before we start, just so I can get my time.
Sorry. Well, I thought, what happened? You were originally thought my 3:30, and then they told me, oh, well, now you're the 3. So I thought you guys already discussed that you changed times or something. So I was like,
yeah, I know. When I opened my computer, it was in my email, and I don't do emails in the morning, so I didn't get that information. It's all good though.
No worries. I'll call you quicker as soon as I know. All right. Then I'm like, okay, I got to call her just in case. Thank you so much, sweetheart. You enjoy the rest of your day. Okay. And we will chat next week. Thank you.
Awesome. Lovely. Thank you so much.
Bye, honey. Thank you, Sabrina.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.